You've been supportive of Amazon throughout this dispute. What do you think of this latest response?
I'm happy that Amazon's finally talking about what their negotiation terms, their ideal negotiation terms are. It confirms everything that I've suspected just from watching the company over the years and dealing with them as an author and a publisher. They went through this back in 2010, fighting for reasonable ebook prices, and back then the response from publishers was to kind of form a cartel and collude with their supposed competitors in order to artificially raise the prices of ebooks on readers in order, I think, to protect their legacy print industry or to make as much money as they possibly could off of readers. And I think it's been to the great detriment of the authors at Hachette that they are fighting for these much higher ebook prices. So I'm glad that Amazon's finally talking. We're in a weird situation now where you say Hachette has not returned your calls for comment. It's usually the other way around. But I think hopefully this will put some pressure on Hachette to come to the table and negotiate in good faith, because it sounds like they have not been doing that.
Now, Mark, Amazon wants 30%, and it also wants Hachette and the authors to split the remaining 70%, which is different than the way it is today. I believe authors get something more like 25% today. Can you explain how this is different, what Amazon is proposing, and what authors actually take away when they sell a book today?
Well, I think some of what Amazon is proposing here is a disingenuous smokescreen. If Amazon really wanted to offer consumers lower prices, it would be doing other things differently. Right now, Amazon, for self-published authors, penalizes the author if they price their book under $2.99. If you price your book under $2.99, you only earn 35% of list rather than 70% list. Right now, Amazon makes it really difficult for authors to price their books at free. The only way to price your book at free is to enroll in their exclusive KDP Select program. So I don't think this is just about lowering prices. I think this is about Amazon gaining control over the price and over control over the ebook margins. If you look at what Amazon said in their blog post, you look at it very closely, they're talking about 70% of revenues, 70% of proceeds. They're not saying 70% of price. What the publishers want is the freedom to set their own prices and earn 30% list. And give the retailer 30% list on the ebook. The publisher wants to earn 70% list. I think it should be the publisher's decision what they pay the authors. I agree with many of the critics, and I agree with Hugh that the publishers aren't paying their authors enough. They're only paying authors 25% net, which works out to 12 to 17% of the list price. If you look at what self-published authors are earning 60 to 80% of the list price as their ebook royalty. So there's a big gap here in what publishers are paying and what self-published authors are earning.
Now, Amazon makes the argument that, and they use the price of an ebook at $14.99. They say if they reduce that price to $9.99, they sell 74% more books and bring in 16% more revenue. I want to bring in our editor-at-large, Corey Johnson, who's been looking at this very closely as well. Corey, is it a smokescreen, as Mark says?
Well, the numbers, I think Mark's really right to point out how cleverly this is written, and I think that the notion of, the publishers can do the exact same kind of math. They've also done their own price analysis, and price analysis like this is never a fixed thing. They don't know for sure that every title is going to have the same pricing dynamics. A lower price will equal that much greater sales. They offer this up as an example and make it seem like it's math set in stone. The other thing that they're doing here is at the end of their note, which I've tweeted out at Corey TV, and it's for people that want to read the actual note, and it's an interesting one. They do try to create another area of focus, which is how much the authors are getting paid, arguing that the publisher should split 50-50 with the author, 35% to the author and 35% to the publisher, and pointing out, even as if it wasn't obvious, that the publishers don't do this right now, trying to get the public, because getting authors ticked off at Amazon is a problem for Amazon, and Amazon's trying to sway their opinion, suggesting that they're on the side of the authors, trying to get the authors paid more, and writing that in a blog post.
Hugh, as an author, what do you think? Do you think Amazon cares more about Amazon, or does Amazon actually care about you?
I think Amazon cares about Amazon foremost, the reader second most, and the author right behind the reader. I've never been treated as well by any publisher as I have by Amazon financially. It's night and day. I think what Mark's trying to make a different argument about ebook pricing, saying that Amazon punishes ebook prices that are too low. Amazon has just released a pricing tool to try to motivate self-published authors to raise the price of their ebook. It's not that Amazon is just for low prices or high prices. They're for optimal pricing. And what they have right now is publishers charging too much for ebooks, in large part because they're protecting relationships with bookstores and with their legacy print industry. And I know this for a fact. I'm working with over 30 publishers around the world, and they've told me they cannot lower the price of my ebook because it'll upset bookstores. So your expert who thinks that publishers are doing a price analysis and making a logical decision, that's not how these decisions are being made by publishers. They're being made emotionally. They're being made because of existing relationships, because they don't want ebooks to gain penetration because it takes their power away. So I think people who think that publishers are behaving logically here in the best interest of authors or readers haven't studied the history of this publishing cartel that exists in New York right now. It's not operating in the best interest of its own authors. And I hope Amazon wins this fight and we get ebooks at a reasonable rate.